Like, wow, I'm a little afraid to get on stage. I was just like randomly blanking. I was missing cues. It was too loud. It was distorting. It just wasn't good. I'm a professional. I'm just going to roll with the punches. I should not have done that.
I'm on a whole nother level. I got the link with the bezel. Diamonds on me like a medal. I know you mad, I never settle. From the top down, got the best view. People wanna know me when I step through. On purpose, no accidental. I'm on a...
Hey there, my name is LexC, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel today. I want to talk to you about my first time performing with a corporate party band, and I want to tell you all about how that was and how it even came to be in the first place. So I have 4 main points that I want to get into: how I got the gig, the methods I used for learning the show, how the show was, like accepting my first gig, and then my praises and critiques for myself. Let's jump right into it. How did I get this gig in the first place? The way that I got this gig is actually a really great testimony for you never know who's in the room and you never know who's watching you. So I was working with an artist. I'm an audio engineer, in case you didn't know, but I'm an audio engineer. And so I was working as an engineer for an artist back in like 2021. And she had a producer come through to the studio, and me and that producer were introduced. We talked for a little bit, but I didn't really think that he noticed me or took much interest in me, right? Because the focus is this other artist over here. Now, during this time, I was engineering. I was also helping to write. I was also helping with vocal production a little bit, but mostly backgrounds. So this producer knew that I could sing. I had all these hats that I was wearing, but my main role was engineer. Anyway, I didn't think that producer noticed me. And let's see, fast forward to maybe 3 or 4 months ago, he recommended me. He called me up. I didn't know he had my number because I forgot that we had exchanged information, but he had my number and he called me up. He said, "Lex, I got a friend. He's looking for a singer for his band to perform at these corporate events. Are you interested?" I said, "I've never done it before, but sure, let's give it a try." Go ahead and give him my number. And so I was introduced that way, and it turned out to be a great situation. You know, I get the opportunity to hone into the side of music that is performance and really making my stage presence a lot better. So yeah, very excited, very amazed, very thankful for the opportunity. But again, it is a testimony to you never know who is actually paying attention to you. And during that time, especially, the reason why this is so validating is because during that time, I was like my most insecure. You know, I was helping this other artist and we helped her to get signed and all the attention is on her. And at that time, I'm asking myself, like, man, I'm being of service to everyone else. When is my time going to come? That sort of angst and that sort of anxiety and that insecurity of, oh, why am I not being chosen? But, you know, everything is going to happen in due time when it's supposed to happen. And my time has come to get this performance stuff together, you know? So yeah, it's really validating to know that even though I didn't feel recognized in one way, I was actually recognized as having a good work ethic and a good attitude. And they remembered my voice, which is the most important part, right? So all that other stuff didn't even matter. What mattered was I made a good impression on someone, and years down the line, it turned into a great opportunity. So that is my testimony, and that is how I ended up getting this gig in the first place. Next up, let's talk about how I learned the show, which is the most important part. Now, there is 4 to 5 hours worth of content, of music, of lyrics, of choreography that needs to be learned for this opportunity. And the great thing about it is that once you know all of the material, you're good. Like, that's it. You're all set for whatever future shows. It's not going to change, except I think they're beginning to add in some new content and some new sets and materials in there. But otherwise, this is pretty much what you have to know. And as long as you know this, that's fine. What's really interesting about all of the songs that are included in these sets, it's like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 sets that I have to learn. I think I have a solid 4 sets that I know as far as the general dance moves and the lyrics and the harmonies and backgrounds and everything for that. But what's really cool about all of the songs included in this 4 or 5 hours worth of a show run is that it's all music that I grew up listening to or that I've heard at some point or another in my life. It's just that, you know how we've been singing stuff like from childhood or like all these years, but you never really lock into the lyrics. Well, that's basically what this is for me. Is I know the songs, but I don't really know the songs. Now I'm locked in and I'm learning the lyrics, and I am, like, oh, this is what they said. They didn't actually say the thing that I've been saying for like 20 years. This is something else that they're saying on the lyrics. So I'm going through and I'm listening, and the way that I started to familiarize myself with the show is I would listen to it on road trips. So at the time, my mom was getting better and she was in recovery from her surgery. So I was going back and forth to Augusta, which is like 2 hours, 2.5 with a certain amount of traffic, right? So I would use those car rides to listen to the show. And that got me through maybe 2 listens of the entire show. Unfortunately, though, and I quickly realized that passively listening like that, while it was good to familiarize myself with that, it was not good enough to learn everything, and it didn't do enough for me to actually prepare me for everything that I needed to know for being successful at doing a show. So it's 4 to 5 hours of songs, like I said, but passively listening on a car ride was not enough. So I changed around my entire schedule. So let me backtrack a little bit though. So it actually was not enough to be prepared for an actual show. So I was offered the opportunity to perform on an April 12th show. At that point, I think I would have been given 2 weeks to know everything, at least for a certain color set of songs that I was assigned to learn, right? And at first I was like, okay, I can do it. And then I had that first rehearsal and it was just like, ooh, okay, maybe I can't do this. Maybe this is not right for me. And I actually recorded an entire video where I was basically having a breakdown like, man, how can I expect to be successful in music and I can't even get these songs together, and I look bad and I look like I haven't prepared. I look like I haven't been paying attention. I have been paying attention, but I just didn't lock in the way that they probably needed me to be ready for this show. And I only have 2 weeks to learn all these things. And it's only 3 rehearsals and my schedule is not going to permit, and just all of these things going through my mind, just really stressing myself out. Right. So all of that to say, that passive listening was not helpful for feeling ready for the show, right? So I go through that breakdown. Let me know if you want to see that video. Let me know in the comments or send me a message. Let me know if you want to see that video, because I recorded it, but I never posted it. But yeah, I was offered that and I just was not comfortable doing that show. But I did ask if I could shadow because I wanted to see, well, how does a run of show actually look with this company? So I ended up shadowing and felt a lot better. I got to see how the other singers, who were also brand new, 2 ladies were new, and one of my fellow bandmates, she was like, girl, you got the voice, you got it. Like, what are you doing? Lock in, like, get ready so we can get on these shows. Cause I know for me, I need this money. And I was like, you know what? Hell yeah. And that was a new experience for me because, I've been singing for a very long time, but sad to say, I get encouragement around me, but I don't really, I feel, this is going to sound kind of controversial, but sometimes I feel like I have yes people around me. Like sometimes I want certain critique, or I'm looking for the fault within myself. So yes, I've had people tell me that I'm good and, I got the voice and all of this, but for some reason, I guess I just haven't heard it from the people that I wanted to hear it from most. This whole experience is different for me because I'm hearing it from other people who are literally doing the exact same thing as me. So like being a rapper is different. I have rappers tell me all the time, Lex, you're so dope. But seeing it from other artists who are ladies who sing, who are in Atlanta, and they're Black women, and they're just having like the same experience as me, and this is new for them too, but they're doing it, it's different to be close to people like that and see them go into this situation and be like amazing at it. So when my band member said, yo, what are you doing? Lock in, go ahead and get ready. I was like, you know what? She's right. And so from that moment on, I completely changed my routine and I was like, she's right. I need to lock in. I have been BSing. Not that I was BSing, but I just wasn't I had not set up my schedule to be able to lock in and really learn things the way that I needed to. I got some pointers from her on how to, memorize the show and everything. And that's what I did. I locked in. I got focused. And something that has helped me along this whole journey with being focused is actually Magic Mind, which is a mental performance shot. And I'm going to hold it up to the camera. Hopefully you can see that. But it's a mental performance shot, less stress, sharper focus, and just calm energy. And this little shot has been helping me so much throughout this entire process because, like I said, it's 4 to 5 hours of songs and lyrics and choreography that needs to be learned. And that's just a lot that needs to be honed in on. And I needed the help. I needed the energy, not only like the motivational boost, but the literal mental boost. And the mental performance shot of Magic Mind is perfect because it really did help me lock in. Like, no distractions. I wasn't distracted by low energy. I wasn't distracted by feeling stress or anything like that. So, and I'm actually going to take some right now because I have a long night ahead of me. And it's literally like taking a little shot. It's green. It's got matcha, L-theanine, lion's mane mushroom, and just like a bunch of organic, nice ingredients, 12 ingredients that help with that mental performance, with that energy, with the stress. So highly recommend it. If you need to lock in, try Magic Mind. You can go to magicmind.com/LexAPR for 20% off of your order. And make sure you use the code LexAPR at checkout. And again, that'll get you 20% off. And this is going to help you lock in mentally, lock in, get rid of that stress, get rid of that anxiety, get that sharper focus, lock in with Magic Mind. That's exactly what I did for this first show of mine. So completely changed my mindset, completely changed my routine. Still listening in the car, still doing that passive listening, but now I'm listening to the lyrics. I am paying attention to what's being said. It was recommended against me listening to the original songs, but I went and I listened to the original songs and I learned the parts that I knew I needed to learn. I would start over if I got the line wrong, and I would keep singing it over and over to myself, singing along with the original record until I got what I needed, until I locked in and I memorized those lyrics, right? And then I would write lyrics down on a sheet of paper, pen and pad. That's right. Physically write out lyrics to help me retain that information. I have a little Bluetooth speaker. There's a way to make things loop on YouTube where you can have it on like a playlist and then you press the loop for just one song. I will have that playing while I'm sleeping and it's just looping so I can subconsciously just take it all in. And probably another great game changer for me, well, two things, is going to the gym. I'm typically listening to podcasts, but I decided, all right, let's do away with the podcasts. And now instead of listening to podcasts, let me turn the show on. So while I'm working out, that's an additional 3 to 5 hours per week that I'm able to listen to the show. And I had just started a new job at the time, which is not taxing on me. Like, I don't need to be like super present. I'm organizing papers and notarizing things for like 4, 5, 6 hours a day. So that gave me an additional like 12 to 15 hours to just have those songs constantly looping and playing in my head. And I would also be, practicing in my garage with my Bluetooth speaker, singing out loud. And all of those things have helped me to lock in and feel more prepared for the show. And proud to say that I got through, I know for sure, 4 of the sets. The first 4 sets, I got those down pat. I got it. Got the lyrics. I could hang with the moves. We got to lock in those moves, but I got those 4 sets. Now, time comes around where I've been learning all these songs, a certain color set, but eventually he says, hey, can you learn both color sets or all the vocals for all the songs that have female vocals on it? I'm like, sure, I can do that. So I'm doing that, and maybe like 2 weeks passes by that I'm learning these things. And he says, hey, there's a show coming up on May 17th, which was in like, I feel like it was like 4 or 5 days that he asked me this. He was like, do you want to do it? And, if this was like the beginning of April when I was asked to do my first show, this is why it was so different. Because when I was asked to accept that show back in April, I was like, I know the stuff, but I don't know the stuff. I was willing to accept the challenge, but I had to be very brutally honest with myself back in April. Like, I don't have the chops to be successful, to represent this band well at this show. But this time around, I'm putting in the work. Oh, I also forgot to say that we have weekly rehearsals every single Thursday. I'm hitting every single rehearsal on time. So that's 4 hours with the rest of the bandmates. That's 12 to 15 hours on the job. That's 3 to 5 hours at the gym. That's maybe 5 hours that I'm in the car each week. You know what I mean? So, and then whatever else I was doing, practicing maybe like 2 or 3 hours practicing on my own in my garage, as well as writing and studying the lyrics, right? But this time around, I felt a lot better about accepting. Like, I know I don't know all 4 to 5 hours of material, but I know that I know enough to be able to pull this off and to be a good representation of the band. So I accept it. Kind of crazy, because first show I'm accepting, it's all the way up in Virginia Beach. It's a Jewish wedding, but Virginia Beach, like, that part is kind of crazy because that was like a 9, 10, 11 hour drive. So literally in less than a week, suddenly I'm going to Virginia. Oh, wow, that's crazy. But yeah, Jewish wedding all the way in Virginia Beach, May 17th. And I had been learning the blue songs. I was feeling confident, and I was learning the purple songs. So there's blue, purple, and pink. Pink just means ladies. Purple is one set, blue is another set. I'm pink because I just learned everything. But I was feeling good. Like I said, I know for sure at least 4 sets. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, cool. If we can do these 4, I think I'll be all right. Because even though there's 4 to 5 hours of content, the show might be 2 to 3 hours. And I was assured, like, hey, you may not know everything. Learn as much as you can. You are on a show with other people who are experienced. They will have your back. And thankfully, that is exactly what happened. So that leads me to the most important section, is self-praise and critique. And we're going to do this like a sandwich. So we're going to give myself some praise again. All right. So let's start out with some praises. What I am really proud of myself on for this is the fact that I was very scared and very scared and feeling very insecure about accepting it. There's this whole thing I've been going through for like the past year, stemming from like past relationships and just being a little burnt out with dealing with music and the industry side of everything, where I have really kind of regressed back into my shell, and I have to do more work than I did in the past to get out of that shell. So been feeling insecure about doing music things because it was causing problems in a previous relationship. So I'm like dimming my light and I'm shrinking myself. That's causing issues. And then I'm just burnt out because, man, I've been at this for a minute and things are not popping in the timeline that I thought they would. But, you know, all of this is playing a role, and it's causing some performance anxiety to where, like, wow, I'm a little afraid to get on stage. But I'm proud of myself for being afraid, but still accepting the gig in the first place, because I know this is something that I need to push past. I know this is something that I want to get better at. And this is a facet of music that I have not truly been able to give the time and development the way that I have been able to vocally, the way that I have been able to on the engineering side and like in the studio and recording, like singing, songwriting, recording. I got that down pat, but unfortunately I just have not made enough money or have not spent enough time developing my stage presence or getting like choreography together or learning how to play with a band. Done it before, but I've been the only one on stage for such a long time and all that pressure falls on me. It is really nice to finally have a community of people who are doing the exact same thing as me actively. Like I said earlier, people encourage me, but I guess I just wasn't hearing it from the right people. I wasn't receiving it maybe the way that they intended for me to, but their praises have been getting me through, and it's been fanning my flame a little bit to continue to keep going in music and not give up, because I am inspiring so many people and all of that good stuff, right? But again, proud of myself for accepting, even though I was afraid. So I'm doing things in spite of my fear. Something else that I'm proud of myself about is taking a gig, the very first one, first time performing with these people that I don't don't know how our chemistry is going to be on stage. And it's a gig that's literally 10 hours away. So that was 20 hours on the road this weekend, just driving and coming back. So I'm proud of myself for that. That takes a lot of guts. And I'm also proud for how I prepared, because I prepared and I practiced exactly the way I was supposed to. I changed my routine. I was singing in the car, singing at work, singing in the gym, singing at home, writing lyrics, attending the weekly rehearsals. I practiced and prepared just like I was supposed to. But that's going to lead me into my criticism. Unfortunately, as much as I prepared, as much as I practiced, as much work as I've been putting in, I've come to the conclusion that it simply just was not enough. But I'm going to give myself grace because, you know, I'm coming to terms that I'm one of those people who is going to take a little bit longer to learn the show. So the guy's name, his name is D. He's the owner and manager of all the corporate bands. And he said, you know, some people learn it in 2 weeks. Some people learn it in like 6 months. It's looking like I'm going to be one of those people that's leaning towards 6 months because I know the songs, but everything is not like fully gelled in yet. Now, unfortunately, I flubbed on lyrics. You know, those 4 sets that I told y'all, I got it down pat. Nerves weren't getting in the way, but for some reason I was just like randomly blanking during the sets that I have been practicing and that I knew that I had down pat. So I was very upset with myself for that. We had some request songs that I knew the melody for. They had to be performed. So I'm not exactly happy that I did not memorize those things, but I was able to read the lyrics for those things. You know, going to get better by, you know, hopefully memorizing songs quicker in the future. I was really thankful that If I Ain't Got You by Alicia Keys was one of the requests. I've been singing that like all of my life, so I had that down pat. But the other ones, which were like 80s songs, unfortunately, and because I guess it was so quick to the time that I was brought onto the show, I didn't know them the way that I wanted to know them. And I was reading lyrics, and that's something that I don't want to be dependent on. So there's that. What else happened? I was missing cues. So this is my first time using in-ears to this capacity. I've used in-ear monitors before. If you don't know what that is, it's basically headphones, earbuds that go in, and it allows you to hear yourself, you know, as you are sounding through the system. So this is my first time using in-ears to this capacity for a 2-hour show. And unfortunately, I don't think that I was really good at choosing the levels for the in-ears, and the app that we use to control our volume. I don't think I did a good job of like mixing that because it was too loud. It was distorting. It just wasn't good. And unfortunately, that caused me to miss cues. And we did a lot of jumping around, which unfortunately we jumped to stuff that I did not prepare for. So I was very upset about that. And I later talked to the MD afterwards. He was like, listen, if you're having issues with your in-ears, what you should have did was told somebody. Me trying to be Beyonce, I'm like, I'm a professional. I'm just going to roll with the punches. I should not have done that. Because I missed cues. And then when we're jumping around in these different sets, I didn't know where we were. So I was having to rely on the other female singer to hop in. Now, luckily, she was already prepped for that because I only know so many Blue songs. She was already prepped for that, but I didn't feel like it was a good reflection of me. I'm like, no, I'm a professional. I know how to do this. I know how to perform. If I knew these things better, if I had this better, then this would be better. And, you know, I would just not be the weakest link in this situation, but you know, it is what it is. So moving forward, I was told I could practice with in-ears. So when I go to rehearsals, I'm going to practice with in-ears and get better at using those. That's just one of those things. It's a learning curve that I have to attend to, you know? So I'm going to give myself grace. I'm not going to beat myself up too much about that, but just didn't love that. I'm like, why didn't I speak up? Why did I feel like I just had to roll with that? But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. What else? I did not know all of the dance moves. So again, because I knew like 4 sets, when we jumped to the stuff that I wasn't as familiar with lyrics wise or dance moves wise, it was like, all right, there was a bit of a delay in me dancing and the other 2 dancing. So that was kind of frustrating for me. I was like, man, I was able to look at them and like pick up what they were doing because yes, I've seen these things before, but because I'm not really sure where we are in the set and I'm missing cues as a result of the in-ears not being properly mixed, I was like, man, I should have been more on point, but I wasn't. Something else that I wish I did a little bit better at, and I think I did okay because, the same way that I've been practicing is what I did on stage. However, the MD brought it to my attention that I did not look as comfortable as the others on stage. And I guess I didn't get up close enough to the edge on stage as the others did. I thought I did okay on that, but I could be fooling myself. I could be a little delulu. I could be a little too gracious on myself for that. So, maybe I wasn't. I could also see that for the parts where like I was not as comfortable or didn't know the sets that we were jumping to. I could definitely see that. So yeah, not as comfortable with getting up close. Now, when it came time for me to sing my leads, I think I did a great job of moving to the center and going up against the stage, like the edge of the stage, closest to the audience, as close as I could. I think I did a great job with that. But on the parts that I was not sure about, hopefully it didn't show, but maybe if he noticed it, maybe the other people, I really hope not, but I don't know. I'm very upset with myself on that. And then the final thing that I'm upset with myself about is I didn't get enough content in my show outfit. I didn't get any videos of me doing sound check. So that's kind of disappointing, but I don't think I felt completely comfortable doing those things, this being my first rodeo. Like I wanted to be excited about being there and I was, but I also was focused on, okay, let's not forget lyrics. And maybe that was another mistake I made, which is something that I have to work through just in this whole journey with working with this corporate band. Because I've regressed into my shell a little bit, unfortunately, I have become stiff and uptight over the years. And so I don't just let loose the way that I used to. And unfortunately, that means that I worried myself into flubbing on lyrics. Like there was one song we have where we performed Truth Hurts by Lizzo, and like it's the second verse. I think I said the second verse too quickly and ended up starting the hook too soon. And I'm just like, bro, what? I practiced this so many times. Why am I messing up on this part? But whatever. It is what it is. So those are the things I'm not so happy with myself about. However, again, this is like a sandwich. So that was my praise. That was my critique. To praise myself some more. Again, I am very proud of myself for accepting the gig in the first place and facing my fears. I put in the work and I was ready to accept this first gig. So I have to give myself a round of applause for that. And just having the desire to want to get better with stage presence and having the desire to break out of that anxiety around performing and having the desire to want to jump into this aspect of music and doing it despite my fears. I'm extremely proud of myself for that, So I got to give myself props. This is what the girls are doing on social media now. I got to give myself props on that. I'm very proud of myself. And what else am I proud of? Facing my fears and rolling with it. So part of me being uptight and like not letting loose, I realize it's because I like to control things. But this year, one of my winning habits that I'm working towards, I have one that I work on each quarter. So it's 4 winning habits for the year. One of those habits that I am working on, that I'm developing, is letting go of the need to control things, letting go of the need to have control over everything, and allowing myself to go with the flow a little bit more. So even though I did not know all the Blue songs, and everybody knew that I did not know all the Blue songs, right? I did not let that stop me from accepting the show. I accepted it and I trusted that I would be able to go with the flow, and I trusted in other people's belief in me. So everyone around me is saying, Lex, you're fine. You got it. Lock in. You got the voice. It'll come to you. It might be a little rough the first few times, but hey, you'll have support. So trusting in their belief of me, trusting in what they're telling me, that I will be fine and that I will be supported, and then trusting that I don't need to know it all right now, and just doing my best anyway. Like I said, like I couldn't be more proud of myself for that, because literally All it is now is just continuing to learn and continuing to add on to the repertoire of all of the show that I need to know. So I'm probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours in, like, of knowing the show. I don't have too much more to learn, maybe another 2 to 3 hours. And I think really what I could have done better in this regard is just if I just had more time, so I just got to keep locking in. I just have to keep learning and practicing and, employing all of the tactics that I've been using to learn the show. And in time, I will know everything I'm supposed to know. And then, keep doing these rehearsals, of course, and tightening up my choreography as well. And over time, I think as I get more comfortable with the other people as well, because they really are very supportive. As I get more comfortable with everybody and I get more confident with myself and I can allow myself to let loose even more on stage and learn to have fun with music again, it's going to be fine. So I'm so proud of myself because I am actively practicing these habits that I have set forth for myself. So those are all of the praises and critiques that I have for myself. Like I said, I'm giving myself a lot of grace with this because I did not need to know everything. So I'm being more hard on myself maybe than other people are. That's just that's just what it is, right? Like, we're always going to be our biggest critics, but I'm giving myself a lot of grace and I'm allowing myself to understand, like, hey, this is not going to be perfect the first time through. You're not going to be Beyonce. You're not Beyonce. You are LexC. Find your flow. You can do it working with the band, and I get paid for it. Like, what more could I ask for, really? Like, I prayed to God to help me make more money and to, decrease stress, which will come from making more money. And he's answered my prayers as far as bringing in this opportunity and then bringing in the opportunity to have the part-time job that I have. So it all falls in line. Like, I really cannot be upset. I couldn't be more proud of myself. Like I said, like, I kind of want to blush about it a little bit. I'm very proud of myself for going through with this and trying something new. It is different because I'm not recording and engineering people as much in the studio. And now the demands on my schedule is even greater. There's a little bit of strain on my relationship, with accepting the part-time job and accepting the corporate gig. Like, weekends are now taken, not like I had them anyway, because when you're doing the recording studio, everybody's off on Saturday. So everybody wants to record on Saturday, but just really, really proud of myself. I'm very proud of myself. So I just got to continue to work, continue to practice, continue to soak it all in, and I'm going to be fine. And I'm going to find my flow, and I'm really grateful that I get paid. It's reducing stress. And the biggest thing for me too is I know it's going to help me find that passion for music again. I feel like I've lost it, but people offering their encouraging words to me and then having this opportunity to explore a different side of music, I'm very excited for that. So I couldn't be in a better position, and I'm just going with it. I'm just trying to let loose, go with the flow, enjoy life a little more, enjoy music a little more. And I know that things are going to happen in God's time as they are supposed to happen. I just have to keep showing up and keep doing my part. Anything that I'm not, up to par on, God will meet me the rest of it. Anything I'm not on to par, this is God, right? This is me. I'm coming up, but I can't quite get there. God will lift me up to that level. So I'm going to keep believing that. And I want y'all to believe it for yourselves as well. Thank you for letting me get on here and yap about my experience, my first time performing with a corporate party band. And if you have any events in the Southeast region or just in the Southeast, then, you can hit me up in the comments, or you can hit me up on social media, email me, whatever, if you need a live band, and I will get you connected, because get me paid, get the band paid. It's great. Live instrumentation is just so much different from having tracks from a DJ. Like, not knocking the DJs, but it's just different. Feeling that kick drum, feeling that snare, feeling those toms, that guitar, the horns, the bass, like everything. It's just a different feeling. So let me know if y'all want that. But also let me know if any part of this has resonated with you. Is performing with a corporate band something that you think you might want to do if you are a singer? There are opportunities for rappers as well. There's a lot of rap songs in there. So make sure you make sure you comment anything down below. Make sure you share, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified each and every time I post a new piece of content. Before I officially wrap up this video, I do have a question on Instagram Live. T Parker Music 24 asks, what's been your favorite part of 2025? So far, my favorite part of 2025 has been this journey that I'm on to better myself and to break down certain barriers and to break down certain beliefs that I've developed about myself over time. So certain things that have crept in, like the insecurity and becoming uptight and not being able to let loose and controlling everything and just being uptight about, where I thought things would be with my music, how I thought things would go. I'm really excited for myself in breaking down those barriers and destroying certain mindsets that have not been very conducive for me and certain mindsets that have been taking away my joy for a long time. So my favorite part about 2025 has been all of 2025 so far. We're only 5 months in and I see like such a bright, fun future for myself, just filled with so much prosperity, not just money wise, but just the type of woman that I see myself becoming. I'm very excited about 2025. So all of it so far. First quarter has been amazing. It's been trying. All right. It's been challenging, but it's been amazing. And I'm just leaning into my faith with God more, and everything, as long as I put the work in, it's gonna work out. What's up, 88? Thanks so much for tuning in. So that's my favorite part of 2025 so far. All of it. Like, it's all up from here. It's all up from here. And with that being said, if anyone is interested in being part of these conversations, I will be going live on Instagram. That's at LexCATL, at LEXCATL, which I think is in this corner. I hope I got it right. I think it's in this corner. So make sure you follow me. Make sure you're subscribing to my YouTube, subscribing to the Apple Podcasts and the Spotify and wherever else you get your podcasts, wherever else you stream. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this gives you more insight on corporate party bands. And before I get out of here, go check out some of my music, which you can find on YouTube and Apple and Spotify and iTunes and Tidal and Amazon. I'm everywhere. I'm official. Go check that out. The next show that I'm doing is actually going to be Saturday, May 24th in North Carolina. This was supposed to be my first show, but now this will be my second show. So all that punishment I took last week, I'm about to do it again this weekend. Hopefully I know more songs. So, we jumping in it. We're afraid, but we're doing it anyway. And maybe you should adopt that mantra as well. Do it scared. You're never going to be ready. It's never going to be the right time. Do it anyway. And I also join me for the next Sip and Chat, which is the first Sunday of every month. It's now at 7 p.m. on the first Sunday of every month. So join me for that. Upcoming shows and events, don't have that for y'all right now. I want to give a shout out to my patrons, Alton and Eldon. Thank you guys so much for supporting me on Patreon. If you would like to support me on Patreon as well, it's just something to help me keep going, and it shows your support of me and all the creative endeavors that I have going. You can go to patreon.com/LexCATL. That's patreon.com/LEXCATL. And I want to give a final shout out to Magic Mind, which this has been so pivotal in helping me to lock in, to learn the lyrics, learn the show, learn the choreography. You can get your order of Magic Mind 20% off when you use my code LEXAPR. Go to magicmind.com/LEXAPR and use the code LEXAPR at checkout for 20% off of your order. Thank you so much, Magic Mind, for helping me get through these trying times. But thank you so much to you watching and listening. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, my name is Lexi. Peace.
I'm on a whole nother level. I am a star, but they call me a rebel. They wanna see me defeated, disheveled, cause they beat the pot, wanna call me the kettle. I got the pop, they on the cob. Turning on me, tell them get off my knob. How I get them so upset when I'm simply the best. I guess I make them depressed. I be pressed too. If I had to look at me. I represent all those things. Everything